Imagine someone who never yells, never argues, never complains. They sit quietly in every room. They observe everything. They process everything. And everyone around them assumes they are fine. Then one day, they snap. And when it happens, nobody sees it coming, because nobody was really paying attention. Today, we cover what actually happens when a high IQ introvert reaches their breaking point, the reasons, the psychology, the real examples, and what comes after. Stay with me. This might change how you see quiet people forever. Section 1. Who is the high IQ introvert? First, let's understand exactly who we are talking about. A high IQ introvert is not simply a shy person. They are someone who thinks in layers. They notice what others miss. They feel emotions deeply, but they rarely show them. They recharge in solitude. They prefer one real conversation over 10 empty ones. These people are often the most observant in any room. They watch the room. They read the micro-expressions. They catch the hidden motives. And they store it all in a silent vault. Here is the critical thing to understand. High intelligence does not protect you from emotional pain. It often makes it worse. Smart people overthink. They replay situations. They feel the weight of things long after everyone else has moved on. And introverts already carry a heavy internal world. They don't offload their emotions onto others. They process alone. They push things down. They stay silent, even when that silence is slowly costing them everything. So when you combine a high IQ with a deeply introverted nature, you get someone with an enormous emotional reservoir. And every reservoir has a limit. Section 2. What snapping actually looks like. Let's be clear. Snapping doesn't always mean screaming or throwing things. For a high IQ introvert, it looks very different, and often far more powerful. The cold shutdown. They go completely silent. Not the usual quiet, something different, something permanent. They stop responding. They remove people from their life without a single dramatic word. No argument, no explanation, just absence. And it unsettles people deeply because there's nothing to argue against. The calculated confrontation. This is the one people remember most. They don't raise their voice. In fact, their voice might drop lower than usual. They become very still. And then they speak. Every word is chosen with precision. Every point is factually accurate. They dismantle the situation and the person with a single, cold, logical truth. No emotion, no exaggeration, just clarity. It isn't an explosion. It's a surgical strike. And it lands harder than any scream ever could. Because the person on the receiving end suddenly realizes this quiet individual has been watching, understanding, and cataloging everything for a very long time. The life overhaul. Sometimes the snap doesn't come out in words. It comes out in action. They quit the job. They leave the relationship. They disappear from social circles. People on the outside call it a crisis, but it's actually a correction. They stop tolerating what they should have walked away from long ago. The inward collapse. In the most serious cases, it turns inward. They withdraw completely. They isolate. They fall into depression. Because all that compressed pain had nowhere left to go. Each of these is a form of snapping, and each one shares the same root causes. Section 3. The real reasons. They snap. There are 5 core reasons. Every single one builds on the last. Reason 1. Chronic overstimulation. High IQ introverts process the world at a deeper frequency. Noise, conflict, social pressure. It all hits harder for them. They don't just hear a tense conversation. They feel it. They analyze it. They absorb it. Over time, this constant overstimulation accumulates like pressure inside a sealed container. Reason 2. Being chronically misunderstood. They get labeled cold, arrogant, antisocial, difficult. But none of that is accurate. They are selective. They are thoughtful. They need depth. When people consistently misread them and never try to understand them, it produces a specific kind of loneliness, one that compounds in silence over years. Reason 3. Swallowing their truth. A high IQ introvert usually reads the room better than anyone in it. They know when the plan is flawed. They know when someone is being dishonest. They see the outcome before it arrives. But they stay quiet because experience has taught them that speaking up leads to dismissal, conflict, or being labeled too sensitive. So they swallow their truth. They play the game until the cost of silence becomes heavier than the cost of conflict. Reason 4, being taken for granted. They are the reliable one, the calm one, the capable one. People lean on them constantly, but nobody checks on them. Nobody asks what they need. Their strength is assumed. Their capacity is treated as unlimited. And slowly, they realize they have been giving everything while receiving almost nothing in return. Reason 5, the final trigger. After months or years of all of the above, something small happens. Something that looks completely insignificant from the outside. A dismissive comment, a broken promise. Being interrupted one time too many. It appears to be an overreaction. It isn't. It is the accumulated weight of everything that came before. That final moment was simply the last drop into an already overflowing reservoir. Section 4, the psychology behind it. Psychologists call this emotional flooding. The brain becomes overwhelmed. It can no longer regulate emotion in its usual way. The prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for logic and self-control, essentially goes offline. The emotional brain takes over entirely. For most people, this happens often and in small waves. For high IQ introverts, it happens rarely. But when it does, the flood is enormous, because the suppression has been so thorough and so prolonged. There is also something in behavioral psychology called the rubber band effect. The more slowly and consistently you stretch a rubber band, the more violently it snaps back. High IQ introverts stretch themselves every single day. They manage. They adapt. They endure. But the rubber band always has a breaking point. There's another layer that makes this even harder. Psychologists call it hyperperception, the exhausting ability to see what others cannot, to detect hidden motives before they surface, to read microexpressions, to sense when someone is being dishonest, even when they're smiling. Most people are unaware of the undercurrents in a room. The high IQ introvert feels every single one of them, constantly, without a switch to turn it off. This level of perception is a gift, but it is also an invisible weight carried every day. Now, picture this scene. A corporate meeting. A quiet, reliable employee sits at the table. They have flagged the problems with this project for months. Nobody listened. Today, someone interrupts them, again, mid-sentence, and talks over their point entirely. The room expects a sigh, maybe silence. The usual? Instead, the quiet employee stops. They close their notebook. They calmly place their pen down. They look up, and in a measured, unhurried voice, they walk the entire room through exactly why the project will fail, citing specific data, naming specific decisions, and identifying specific people who ignored the warnings. Every word lands. The room goes completely still. Then they pick up their bag, push their chair in neatly, and walk out, permanently. That is not a breakdown. That is someone who finally decided the cost of staying silent was no longer worth paying. Section 5, the Stoic Rebirth. After the snap, one of two paths follows. The first is destruction, burned bridges, fractured relationships, words that cannot be taken back. If the snap came as rage, the damage can be real and lasting. But the second path, and this is where most high IQ introverts land, is transformation. Not just setting better boundaries. Something deeper and more permanent than that. It is a total reclaiming of power. The snap marks the death of the people-pleaser, the version of them that performed patience for people who never deserved it, that tolerated disrespect to keep the peace, that shrank themselves to make others comfortable. What rises in its place is someone different, quieter in a new way, not suppressed, settled. They stop explaining themselves. They stop seeking approval. They build their life around their own peace with zero apology. Their circle shrinks and becomes entirely intentional. Their time becomes protected. Their energy becomes deliberate. They don't become cold. They become clear. And the people who once took them for granted suddenly notice something has permanently shifted. The access they once had is simply gone. Not out of bitterness, out of self-respect. That is the Stoic rebirth. And it is one of the most profound personal transformations a human being can go through. So here's what matters. If this is you, do not wait until you snap to speak your truth. Your silence has a cost. Your limits are real, and honoring them early is not weakness. It is intelligence applied to yourself. If you know someone like this, pay closer attention. The ones who never complain are often the ones carrying the most. Check on them, not because they are fragile, but because they are human. The strongest containers can hold the most, but they can also break the hardest. If this video describes someone you know, send it to them. And if it described you, now you understand why.